What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 8 of Only for the Strong. Today's guest is an IFBB figure bodybuilding champion and has a bachelor's in nutrition, all at the young age of 22. Joy Patching, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing well, thank you.
Cool. So basically, when I first talk to someone, I really like to hash into their upbringing, which we can get into. But with you, I know quite a few people who are relatively close to you. But even just looking from the outside at your socials and competing and whatnot, you seem to operate at a higher level for your age than most. So what would you say is the sort of driving factor behind this?
Oh, good question. So I suppose from a young age, I've always just wanted to push myself further and always strive for excellence. And yeah, ever since I started high school, to be honest, from years 7, 8, I was in Hulda, which is a sports centre at Fielding Intermediate. Here in Fielding, and yeah, I was always just trying to challenge myself and push myself in fitness, academic. If I never understood anything at school, I'd always just keep asking until I did. And then I went on to high school, and I went to a multi-sports school, Manukura, here in Palmerston North, and it was at year 11 my mum was diagnosed with cancer, so that had a big impact on me and my family. And yeah, I guess she, kind of going through that and losing her at 17 years old has made me have to grow up a lot quicker than what I've had to, and realise that life's short, so you've got to make the most of it. And if you want to achieve something and put your mind to it, you can achieve anything. What's stopping you? So yeah, I guess that's a big driving factor from me.
Prior to that adversity, did you feel like you were almost a kid and then that made you become an adult in a sense?
Yeah, definitely. Losing your best friend, losing your mum, the one that would do everything for you, having her taken away, was something huge to go through. And it really just, I guess it's eye-opening, you're not so worried about materialistic things. You're worried about just being happy in life and making the most of opportunities and hanging around people, and it makes you see the more important things in life, I think, from that. And that's what it helped me with. Yeah. So
following on from that, did you notice a shift in just your mentality and the way you dealt with things and the effort you put into things such as your training and nutrition?
Yeah, I guess when I'm training, I'm thinking I'm doing it for my mum. If I'm thinking that training's hard, nah, it's not harder than fighting cancer, girl, so you keep going, spell out her name while I'm doing my reps. And yeah, she is a big motivator for me and everything I set my mind on achieving. And I guess those traits that we use in bodybuilding, discipline, consistency, that mindfulness, all of those things, it's I don't just try and apply that to bodybuilding, I try and apply that to all aspects of my life.
For sure. So crossing over to a bit of bodybuilding stuff, obviously last year you had a pretty awesome competitive season, especially for your age. But what I wanted to ask you is, as great of a sport bodybuilding is, because I think it's awesome as well, I think it would be fair to say that a lot of people do get lost in it and attach their identity to it. But the one thing I've noticed about you, again, just from the outside, is you appear to be super immersed in it, but you still seem to keep your own identity. Is this something you consciously think about, or is that just sort of the way you approach the sport?
Yeah, that's another great question. You see so many people get consumed in bodybuilding, and even myself, I'll notice when things get a bit too overwhelming for me and I'm kind of not enjoying the process as much as I would. That's when I'm okay, cool, GPH, you need to take a step back, you need to, do something different, hang out with your friends, or just get your mind off bodybuilding. And I guess when I first got into it, I didn't understand the importance of nutrition, and I was way too hard on myself. I was 17 and I was every morning 1 hour fasted incline, abs, would like eat a strict diet. I remember my pre-workout meal was like 23 almonds or some shit like that. And like I was just like doing like overtraining way too much. And that's when I was at school, and like I lost my balance. Like I just became so unhappy. And this was like all around the time that my mum was sick and passed away. So that was also really eye-opening for me, because I realised that, like, cool, I love this, but I don't want to take my own passion away from it, and I don't want to become too obsessed with it, because you kind of lose that passion and you lose that drive.
Yeah, and I think it definitely gets to the point where it can be detrimental. And I've
To your
been through
mental
that, and I
health.
think I never, yeah, and what I've noticed from you is you actually do seem to have more than one, like a good handful of group of people around you that can refer to you, and I assume just keep you honest. So can you talk a little bit about the support crew you have around you, what the line of communication is like with those people in terms of your competing, and what that looks like in your day-to-day?
Yeah, cool. I'd like to mention my uncle Shane, NSNZ boss. People know him on Instagram as. So he was a huge help to me, and like saw like, cool, this girl's passionate, but she needs some guidance. So he was one of the first mentors that I had back in 2018, and yeah, really helped me out with training. I'd go into Evolve, a gym here in Fielding, and yeah, train with him, the owner there, Ross, and Joe, who works at Forest and Fielding. That was just like a good starting point for me, like being above. And I'm always like wanting to surround myself with like-minded people and positive people. So starting like the journey there, learning off them, and then obviously like being a bodybuilder, you know, you want to reach out to a coach. Like I was doing everything myself. Like I got down to like 47 kilos or something ridiculous by myself, like shredded to the bone, but all I was a six-pack. So yeah, like reaching out to a coach, and then yeah, now my coach is Connor, Connor Hausman. So yeah, I've been with him since like mid 2020. Yeah, I switched from
So,
another coach to him like mid prep that year, and that's when I did my first show in 2020.
how have you found, obviously you played a few sports growing up, how have you found those sports different to bodybuilding?
Definitely, I guess it's with the mindset, eh? For me, I guess like it's not just it's definitely not like playing rugby. It's not like let's trade twice a week and let's get on the piss with the boys after our Saturday game, you know? I'm not saying all rugby players are like that, but it's definitely not just, like it's definitely every aspect of your life, you know? It's your mental well-being, it's your nutrition, it's your mindset, it's like just all of these different factors, sleep, hydration, like every factor you want to be in control of, because all of those 1%ers add up. Yeah.
So I guess it's bodybuilding for you. Do you have a long-term plan with competing as a sport, or is it literally kind of just show by show, year by year?
No, yeah, I gained that passion in 2017, and I haven't wanted to stop since, until literally I was forced to stop. So yeah, no, reverse diet was going really well, and like you mentioned, last year was, I guess I kind of realized like, crap, you actually have some potential, you know, like, and because I'm always like wanting more for myself and pushing myself, it took me like a step back to realize like, okay, cool, like, you know, we can do this, and we've got a like future in the sport if that's what I want to achieve. So yeah, I definitely wanted to. Well, my plan this year was obviously to compete at nationals, because I qualified last year, and then I wanted to go overseas and compete in 2024, just because I feel just the figure competition over there is like where I'm wanting to get to. Like, I don't want to get a pro card here in New Zealand. Obviously, being a pro is the goal for me. I don't want to get a pro card in New Zealand and have nowhere to kind of go, because I feel like the New Zealand competition is just, you know, very underdeveloped compared to UK, America, you know.
I'll be honest. I've been following the sport for like probably 10 years. I've competed a few times at low level myself. I think you're probably the first person I've ever heard say that you want to go get your pro card overseas because the standard of competition is higher. Which I know that as well, but it's so interesting because a lot of people just don't. I feel like it's a short term thing. Get my pro card, and they almost think the box is ticked. But I'd say, if I'm correct, you understand that putting yourself in with the higher level of competition will probably raise you to a higher standard.
Yeah, 100%. Like even on prep this year, I was thinking like if I want to even like after my comp is like, this reverse diet is more important than almost competing itself. Like if I smash this, then I'm going to set myself up for a mean off season, and we all know that the real ones know that the off season is where you make the difference. It's not let's do a show and then let's just do whatever and then let's start a prep at 16 weeks out, whatever we want. It's you've got to be doing the work day in, day out, and that's what I love about it, I guess, is that you get to improve and you get to be better every day. And yeah, right now we're going through a pretty massive hurdle. Yeah, we can touch on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, if you want to get to that pro level, it's like what you got to be doing, because I'm not there yet. I've got to be doing what pros are doing, but on a like better than what they're doing. If I want to get to that level. So that's how I kind of approached my prep last year. Is everything adds up, and all those 1%ers, that extra 10 minutes on the Stairmaster, that just. And it's quite cool when you get obviously deep in prep and you see those changes, and then you start to really see those results and that progress, and like you're getting rewarded for that hard work.
So how do you honestly sort of deal with and manage the 1% of your sport? Because a lot of people know about the sport, the consistency of the meals and the training, but until you actually do it and adhere to a high standard and manage all the other things you've got going on in your personal life, someone like you've completed your bachelor's, like how do you actually mentally grasp all those little 1%ers, like the nuances, the repetitiveness of the meals, those sort of things?
Yeah, another great question. I guess thinking of the goal and like where you want to go to, and being willing to do anything to get to that goal, and understanding that, I guess from a young age, I've understood that, seeing results is not an overnight thing. Like you have to be, consistent for years and that's what I think a lot of people do struggle with. They expect to see, oh, let's do this 8-week shred, like, cool. Awesome for you, but where are you going to go after that? Like, and I think, I don't know, just planning ahead is a huge thing. Like it's, you talked about meals. It's like not what are we eating at this meal now. Like I'm worrying about the next 3 days of meals. Like what am I doing for that? Like always being prepared, getting that routine set so like what you're going to achieve that day, so that you can get everything you need to get done and feel satisfied with that and ticking your boxes, Does that answer your question?
Do you struggle with yeah, absolutely. I was just going to ask you, do you struggle with balancing other things outside of the sport? Because one thing I found I was quite good at adhering to my plan, but then, for example, like I bombed out of uni, I cut off relationships for no reason. Are those things I assume you struggled with in the past, but have you been able to get better at those sort of things?
Oh, definitely. Like, especially from losing my mum, is like, if there's an opportunity there, I want to take it, Like I remember in my prep 2020, there was like this cool adventure trip that I went up and did in Auckland and did all these cool things. And yeah, we had to change my diet around and stuff, but we still managed to be in the calorie deficit. I ended up getting food poisoning from eating like some of the Tegel chicken packs that were like, obviously been sitting there and wasn't getting refrigerated. We lost a few kilos from that and it didn't go back on, so that was always a good thing. But I just think just not letting, one big thing that I've always focused on is like, obviously I'm on prep, and that like that matters, and that is like that is my main priority, you know, getting on stage and beating myself. But not letting that stop you from like doing something, you know, like if you've got a mate's 21st on, who says that you can't go? Like, oh, I'm not going because I'm on prep. It's like you can still go and enjoy yourself. You don't have to drink alcohol or do drugs. You can be there and socialize with people. You can take your Coke Zeros and you can be there for a few hours and have some fun, you know, and have that balance. And yeah.
Awesome. So
Yeah, I think-
you kind of briefly were hashing into it there, but with you'll know this, the culture of the young people in our country is like a lot of partying, a lot of drinking, a lot of drugs. Have you found that when you got into training, I assume you kind of separate yourself from those things? Was there a bit of separation between you and your friends? And now do you have a completely different friend group, or has some people come a little bit more full circle because they can understand why you do what you do?
Yeah, definitely. Like when I was year 10, I can remember like all I wanted to do was like go and have some drinks with my mate and get drunk in the weekend, you know, but obviously priorities change. And yeah, like I remember when I was 18, like I wasn't even really going out, you know, when I first kind of was 18. Yeah, you could say that my friends, you know, a lot of my friends have different priorities to me, but they still accept what I do, and they're like, I guess, inspired by what I do, which is quite cool and quite humbling. But like, I definitely like to go out and celebrate. Like when I graduated uni, I went out and had a drink because, you know, I don't mind doing that on a special occasion. Like going to a festival at the New Year. Like I'd planned to go to a festival in the New Year, but ended up in hospital. But you know, just yeah, I think. And the cool thing is also as I've met new people. Like I mentioned how like, you know, and you can meet like-minded people. So you can meet people that are like, they're a bodybuilder as well, or they understand as well. So it's like, cool, let's go for a black coffee, or let's go for a coffee and a stroll. Let's get our steps in, you know, people. And like, yeah, just finding those people, those right people, and surrounding yourself with them who are on the same journey, same goals, and you can connect. And yeah, that's what, yeah, you might not be as close with the friends you were with, but you'll meet new people in the process and people that are on the same waka, which is quite cool.
Cool. So I just wanted to ask you as well, is there anything outside of competing in bodybuilding and a career aspect or an academic aspect you want to work towards in the next few years?
Yeah, so you mentioned that I've done my bachelor's in human nutrition. I've also got a minor in sport and exercise. And I mean, I did consider kind of coaching and doing that jazz, and I helped a few people out here and there. And I don't mind helping the odd person out, but I just, like, it's never really appealed to me, like being a personal trainer or kind of doing that, because there's so much competition out there. Like, I want to do something different, you know, I want to, yeah, like, I guess this year I'm starting my master's. So, like, every summer I've been in my undergrad, I've had an opportunity to do a summer internship with a company. So, I've done 2 with Plant and Food Research. You might have heard of that company. And then
Yeah, I think I saw you would put in a bit of content. Sorry to interrupt. You put in a bit of content up about I think you were doing some supplement research and food research and that sort of thing.
Yeah, so like I find that stuff super interesting, and I'm always like wanting to learn new things. Like, how can I do this better? Or like, I just think food's fascinating, and especially with my mum's background, having cancer, is like, what can we do with our diet that can prevent those chronic diseases, those cancers and stuff. So this year I'm starting my master's, and I'll be working with Dams and Plums. Like, it's a funded project, so pretty cool to pretty stoked, and you're pretty grateful to have a funded master's through Pūhoro, which are a Māori STEM academy, helping young Māori tauira to succeed. And because there's that big stigma with, you know, being Māori is they can't succeed. So yeah, no, they're a big and growing kaupapa, and they have provided me these opportunities, and I definitely know I wouldn't be starting my master's without them. So just want to give a big mihi to them. But we all know that fruit has health benefits. So dams and plums have like been shown to be similar to a blueberry, so have that antioxidant, anti-inflammatory effect. And I'm looking at the digestion and fermentation of those throughout my masters and seeing if like digestion impairs that effect. So we all know how important gut health is and your microbiome and stuff. And you know, are we going to be getting those effects when they're like inside our body, I guess. So yeah, I've been in the lab last year, and I'll continue to be in the lab. And this year I've got to do some papers and stuff, but yeah, I'm like looking forward to that next step. And then I guess like with a goal and what I want to achieve is, I don't really know, like I just want to do something that I'm passionate about. So if it's something to do with nutrition and health benefits, then that's right up my alley, you know. So I'm just following, like going wherever the wind takes me, I guess. Like this, what I've done has led me to this opportunity, so we'll go through that opportunity and we'll see what door that leads open to. Yeah.
I think you'll be aware as well, getting into the space and learning about nutrition and learning about exercise and disease and digestion, all those things, you realise how far we are behind collectively. And I think that's why I encourage people, even like you said before, personal training is saturated, or like food is a massive market or whatever. There's still so much room to grow and educate people. And I think if you take that discipline you've learned in bodybuilding and apply it to anything in the academic space or the nutrition space, you'll probably be fine. And then the other thing I really wanted to touch on is you were recently in a pretty crazy car accident. And if you don't mind just getting into it and being pretty honest, what was that like to begin with? Because I'm sure it wasn't super easy. And how have you dealt with that adversity as you begin to slowly come out the other side of it?
Yeah, no, it'll be cool to touch on and share with people what happened. Yeah, I guess it was definitely the scariest thing in my life. I'm always saying to myself, I'm so grateful, like just for what my body does and all those amazing things we've talked about, like our bodies and machines, you know, and I try and treat my body with as much respect as I can. And having that taken away from you, especially training, this is definitely going to be the longest break I've had of training, but yeah, I was trapped in the car for like 45 minutes. My steering wheel and like that was like trapped down on my legs. So like when it happened, obviously I did my like own observations, like I could wiggle my fingers, wiggle my toes. I knew I wasn't paralyzed because I could move my neck and back. So already then I was thinking, shit, I'm so grateful that, because you know, if I was paralyzed, then holy shit, you know, that would have been something else that, yeah, I can't even imagine. But yeah, I'd broken my femur, so that snapped. And all I thought, I was devastated. It was at the scene, I was devastated. I was like, all that hard work, you know, that I've just done would prep me for an off season. Pretty gutting, yeah. It really hit hard, to be honest.
So was there no feeling of relief that you're alive?
Oh, oh shit, yeah. Like that's what I mean. Like I wasn't paralyzed, or you know, I definitely felt like my mum was with me. Definitely, like. Yeah, and that's what I've been saying to me, like when I've been when I felt like I've needed to complain about it, it's like, you're grateful to be here, girl. So yeah, so where to start with it really? Yeah, so I was in A&E and I had a 4.5-hour surgery. I've got a rod in my leg at the moment that'll come out in about 12 months. Strongest bone in the body, fully snapped. So, you know, if we do something, we're gonna go hardcore, and I think we went pretty hardcore, to say the least. But I think the big support that I had around me has been a huge help. Like I was so amazed with all of the the tautoko and aroha that I felt through social media, people visiting me in the hospital. My partner Charles, he flew up to be with me as soon as it happened. So yeah, I think that's been a huge part of it. But yeah, obviously, like I am facing this as an individual, so I've had to be mentally strong. And I guess, you know, Instagram, you see the highs, but you don't really see the lows. So, I mean, at first I was just like thinking like, oh man, all that hard work like lost, you know, but you've got to look at the bigger picture. Like I'm lucky to be alive. And yeah, I've just tried to look at like everything positively. Like, I may not obviously be looking like what I was pre-accident, but I know my body's doing a lot, and me and you both know like what the bodies are capable of, and just seeing like the healing process is pretty amazing, you know. Like finally all my bruising and inflammation's gone. I'm not really on any painkillers, and like I'm learning to walk again, and I'm finally starting my rehab. So yeah, I feel very grateful to be alive still, and that's kind of what keeps me going. And you know, just not letting like what's happened define me, using it as an opportunity to grow, and try new things. Like, you know, it's not like just throw the towel in, like I'm injured, I can't do anything. It's like I can still focus on nutrition, hydration, supplements, rehab work. Like there's so many other things that you can focus on, and rather than like dwelling in your own like pity, is like, what's the point in doing that? So you're not going to get anywhere, you know. I've just established like a routine for myself where I'm trying to read, journal, have really good nutrition, move the body now that I can walk and I can get on the bike, which is pretty cool, and just taking those small steps. And rest is huge. Like it's pretty hard for me to chill out, so like having to learn to rest has been a big thing for me as well. But there's just definitely some serious injuries that I have. Like I did something to every limb, really, like fractured wrist, dislocated finger, sprained wrist, had a big gash in my left knee. Luckily that didn't cut into any of my ligaments, tendons, so that left leg is good. And then obviously my right leg is a lot weaker at the moment, but we're working on it. Yeah, was there any more questions you had about the car accident? Or
I just kind of wanted to know, did you feel like you would have handled this differently if you hadn't had some of the significant adversity you'd had in your past? As in, did you refer back to some of the strength you'd gained from those adversities and apply it to this situation?
100%. Like, I remember just even thinking back to COVID, like I'd started to develop some of this adversity by then, and like thinking about back when I was like 17, if something like COVID happened, then I would have felt like the world had ended because I couldn't go and train, you know. But now it's like, like bodybuilding's not going anywhere. It's got to be waiting for me when I'm recovered, you know. And it's just patience. I think that's what this is teaching me. And, you know, I don't want to rush anything because obviously I want to get back to what I was as soon as possible, but do it safely and sensible, you know. But definitely what I've been through has helped me with my mindset for this. And I'm really grateful for my mindset. Like, I know I'm strong enough to get through this, you know. So, yeah.
Awesome. So I've just got a couple quick fire questions I want to run through with you. And the first one is, if you could only listen to one song to train for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Probably like some drum and bass, or like I've been listening to like the motivational videos recently. Those are like pretty cool. Like got into them in prep. And there's this one on YouTube. It's my coach actually sent it to me. It's like working against odds. It's got like Sean, Nick, and Hunter in it. So it's quite cool. It's like I want you to think about your journey.
I did see you post that the other day.
Yeah, yep.
And there's one, I'll send it to you. It's got a guy that's in like a sling, and he tore his pec benching with Larry Wheels like a few months ago, and in the video his pec just comes completely off the bone. But he's a professional bodybuilder. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but his video's cool, so I'll send that to you.
It's cool.
But they are cool. I don't know what it is. I think it's just the audio, like, just fizzing you up, you know.
Yeah.
The next question I've got is, in your opinion, who is the greatest athlete of all time in just any sport you choose, really?
Oh, there's a few, like, classics, like, if you're talking like basketball, like Michael Jordan, Kobe, LeBron, and then like in a bodybuilding, like aspect, Arnold. Yeah. Those are a few. How about
Who's your
you?
favourite bodybuilder?
Like in now or just like in any time?
Just ever, yeah, ever.
Oh. I don't know. Everyone loves C-Bum, but yeah. Arnold, very cool. Some people like Ronnie. Just like all of those old classics that, yeah. And then females.
Yeah, I'm a real big fan of, I like the 90s era.
Yeah, like, just, like, yeah, definitely a few from them. And,
And then next question, what is your favourite movie of all time?
movie. Sure, I should have prepared for these. Oh.
You're all good.
One of my favourite ones growing up was
Or even a
Shark Boy and
TV
Lava Girl.
series. Oh,
Yeah, it was always a good one that I liked. But I'm trying to think of
and then lastly, sorry, you go. You're good.
yeah, I'm trying to think of one that's like, real life, kind of teaches you some life skill kind of thing, What's that boxing one? She like learns how to
Southpaw?
box.
Oh, $1 Million Baby.
Yeah, that's quite a cool one. Yeah.
Yeah. And then just lastly, one piece of advice you would give your 10-year-old self.
Probably never think anything's impossible, and if you dream about something, you can make it happen, Nothing's stopping you. Just put your mind to it. You can do anything.
Cool. So before I wrap up, is there anyone or anything you would like to plug or thank?
Well, firstly, thank you, Campbell, for wanting to get me on here. It's quite cool. Yeah, really appreciate that and give me the opportunity to share my story, and yeah, just hope to inspire people. Yeah, give a huge thanks to my coach for the successful year we had last year, Connor, and yeah, just my family, my friends, my partner, just everyone that's always been there to support me, and especially now with what I'm going through. I really do appreciate it. We know it's not easy, but yeah, we're going to get there and get back to where we were.
Cool. For everyone watching, make sure you go follow Georgia on Instagram at gpatch_fitness. But Georgia, thank you so much for your time today. I know you have heaps on your plate and you have been through the ringer the last month. But I've really enjoyed having you on today, and I'm keen to see what you achieve in the next wee while. But with that, I hope you enjoyed being on, and I'm sure we'll get you on again at a later stage.
Yeah, after the recovery, that'll be quite cool.
Yeah, cool. Alright, well, I'll leave you to it and you have a great day. Thanks for watching. If you like this content, please like, subscribe, and share with your friends. And for all things Unbroken Performance and myself, hit the links in the description below.